Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Slant I Do with two sides of cauliflower. As I discussed, I believe last week, I am going to make sure I do this once a week, regardless if there's stuff to talk about or not. I want to make sure that that each episode has a dedication to something relevant to the Muay Thai scene in Thailand or the USA or both. And today's going to be both. And I'm going to start with I read a great article posted by Muay Thai Authority, which is a website, social media page, blah, 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 online presence, Muay Thai Authority. And they did an article about why America is so far behind when it comes to the art of 8 limbs. 8 points is what it should be called. But anyway, let's not dwell on such things. Things that I found most interesting about the articles, they talked about something I always talked about before too, that only in the USA could happen, and probably maybe some parts of Western Europe, but I doubt it, is color rankings, promotions, belts in general don't exist in Muay Thai. And as the author of the article put, and I'm going to steal it, the only rankings that really exist in Muay Thai are the ones at the stadiums. You know, it goes from champion and then number 1 through 10. That's the only rankings that exist in Muay Thai that are real. Great way to put it. Another thing they covered that's a big problem with the American Muay Thai is actually a big problem with American martial arts in general. Brazilian Jiu Jitsu has a great way of calling it out when there's a fake that's trying to teach or call himself a black belt or whatever. It can be easily exposed, especially since jiu-jitsu is the gentle art. You know, you can easily just walk into a gym or whatever, say, hey, roll with me, and you'll know within seconds, really, what the skill level is of that guy. Whereas in Muay Thai, you probably will know if the guy's a fraud within seconds. But let's say he's somebody that's done karate or taekwondo or even just regular Western boxing. You're not necessarily going to know he's a fraud right away. You're going to think, oh, well, this guy knows something. Right? And that's kind of a problem here. There's so many TKD, karate, Kempo type guys that claim they will also teach you Muay Thai, but they're not really. I mean, they something similar, and to the layman probably is the same thing, but the intricacies are definitely not there. Anyhow, let's not dwell on that too much. Other things they talked about was the physical distance and how it affects North Americans in particular. You know, it's a full 1 day to fly there and to fly back, and that's the quickest flight I've found is about 22 hours from Chicago O'Hare to Suvarnabhumi, Bangkok Airport. Sorry for the mispronunciation. And about 18 hours back is the fastest I think I've seen coming back. So yeah, that's a full day. The Aussies, I know they can get there in less than 8 hours, and then Western Europeans all the way to England and Scandinavia are less than 12 hours, maybe 12 hours. So that right there, accessibility alone gives those regions a big edge over us as far as learning from the best, from the originators of the art. Also, something I didn't know until after I read that article was another part of the reason why we are so far behind is we can't actually get good Thai trainers to come here because of their difficulties acquiring visas. Did not know about that. And also, I imagine the distance back is probably not too appealing to them either. It's like, oh, I don't want to be in a plane for a whole day. Then, last and definitely not least, one of the big reasons why we lag behind is the MMA influence, which is huge and and I'm not knocking it whatsoever because that's how I got introduced to Muay Thai to begin with. Is first seeing UFC competitions and seeing Marco Huas, a guy that's roughly my size, maybe 200 pounds tops, but I'm thinking 190-ish. Chop a 300-pound man down with nothing but leg kicks. And from that moment, I'm like, what is that? How do I learn it? And I've been on the obsession since, pretty much. And through that time, I found that there's lots of different things, and most people in the United States, again, do not really have the intricacies of Muay Thai down, with the exceptions being on the West Coast and East Coast. Not surprising, that's kind of the way things work in America usually. But dotted all along California is several top flight Muay Thai schools and trainers, as well as along the Northeast Coast, New York City, Boston, reputable schools, academies, whatever you want to call them. And then Houston, Texas is starting to build up, surprisingly. Here in the last few years, they've got like 2 or 3 of the better American-born Muay Thai trainers seem to be flocking to the Houston area for whatever reason. Anyhow, so the MMA influence over all the other arts is huge, and it's a big reason why jiu-jitsu schools are all over the place, because it's something that isn't something that's gonna beat your body up so much sparring. I mean, it can. If you get rough training partners, you're gonna get a beat up body after sparring jiu-jitsu, but by and large, it's something that anybody can do, and get, if they stick with it, can get capable with it. Whereas striking arts aren't really that easy to learn and get capable at because of the knocks you got to take to get there. Or to quote one of my favorite sayings for regular Western boxing, and it applies to any striking art. It's like, if you can't take it, you can't dish it. So that's another reason why it lags behind. But anyway, before I get enough of that, let me go into some other stuff. Lion Fight had an event in England that I didn't know about, wasn't televised. I saw some of the highlights. Chip Pollard from City Tong, Boston, is the heavyweight champion. Lion Fight. He defended his title there in, from what I can tell, a very nice fashion. Cyan Chai headlined Thai Fight Khmer show, where he fought another foreigner from the USA, a guy named Arthur Sorsor. Never heard of him before. Cyan Chai dominated him for 3 rounds straight. He was obviously a much smaller guy compared to the American, but still threw him around like nobody's fucking business, to an easy unanimous decision fight. Also on that same card, PTT Pech Rung Wang Run. Sorry if I butchered that name. I know I butchered that name. Tore up this, I want to say Turkish. Could have been Tunisian, but I'm just going by the flag because I didn't see them put the nationality in English. Just flags. I believe it was Turkey's flag, but it could have been Tunisia's. Anyhow, he butchered that guy. I mean, the dude was able to actually withstand the entire time limit, but he got floored several times. I'm not talking about throw floored, I'm talking about strike floored, and it was nasty. Several body shots in particular. Sudsakorn also fought a foreigner. I haven't watched that fight yet, but I'm pretty sure he dismantled him in his usual flashy style. Real big thing I wanted to mention was one of the main fighters at the City Tong camp in Pattaya while I was there. Main evented at Max last week, right after I filmed last week's episode. And not surprisingly, he put the business to this French fighter. French guy was very tough, lasted all 3 rounds. That did not surprise me, but it was a very clear unanimous decision for the City Tong fighter. Also to wrap up, Boa Cal and Fabio Pincha has been called off which I already thought was called off after Bolkow went on his Buddhist sabbatical. I thought it was already called off at that point, but I guess not. And I believe that is all the big news. Oh, big Rachamadern 72nd anniversary show coming up in December. It's going to be headlined by my favorite fighter, Sangmi Om Chanmaijin, which is what I believe his fight name is going by now instead of Son Tenyamdam, against Yad Lekpet. And I don't remember Yad Lekpet's gym name. But anyway, that's going to be the main event for the Rachamadern 72nd anniversary show next month. It's going to be big. Can't wait to watch it. Wish I could see it in person. All right, and that's all for this week's Late Night View with Two Sides of Cauliflower. I'll see y'all next week.